Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Adventures in Arcane Space. Once again, I am your Dungeon Master, AuldDragon, and the players are...
Hi, I'm David Big Mac Shepherd. I play Braxon Miacc, who's a human fighter and captain of the ship.
Hi, I'm Dakami-sama and I play Solas of Ebha, who is Half-Elven Cleric Mage of Ogma.
Hey, I'm James. I play Ockar, human paladin from Brawl.
Hello everyone, I'm Sailor Motor. I play Finnel'ar Mohani, a druid from Space who's really missing trees at this point.
Hi, I'm Levalithana, an elven wild mage looking for her roots, but not the tree roots.
Oh, you're clever, you are.
Finn was like, oh, I can help... Oh.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play the character of Lafdul Moonglade, a special priest thief multiclass from Realmspace, from Evermate, great place. His gimmick is coming up with fun titles. His current title is a spirited, sanctimonious, spry, scurrying snooper. It doesn't really rhyme, so I'm struggling on that one. But yeah,
That doesn't always have to rhyme.
It's in Twitch chat. But yeah, I need to step away. Oh, before the day is up, I would cast Memory Read. Just getting that on there.
Okay. Well, then I will... Okay. Well, it was a save anyway. Alright, so, we left off last time, wrapped up a day on Gorogak's Rest, the Goblin Port, and you were expecting to talk once more to Margoth, the goblin who has some friends who might be able to help you. You were trying to find out information about some of the various sage creatures in the sphere.
Yeah.
And she did say that she had some friends who might be able to help. And she also mentioned that another group that might be able to help as well. So it'll be up to you to decide whether you want to visit one or the other or both. I know how you guys like to double up on getting rewards.
Only slightly.
Slightly.
Well, if something needs doing, you might as well get paid for it 5 times. There was also the fact that we got an anonymous message saying we were being watched, which might have been from her, because who else would know to write it in common?
Yeah.
So we might need to have a think about drawing undue attention to her if we go to visit her or something.
Yeah, I think she was going to come back to you, but you could go to her if you wanted. It's up to you.
Well,
She'll come to you if you don't go to her, kind of thing.
We've got a couple of people. Yeah, go on. So go on, Leva.
Just to verify, they've come back and they told the people on the ship what happened.
Yeah,
correct?
because this is going to transition into the next day. If there's anything that you want to make sure you get done before you go to you rest, that's fine. But otherwise, I will assume that you've discussed it. If you want to role play out some of that, that's fine too. Otherwise, it'll be the next day, so you guys can change your spells around.
I suppose Braxon. I'm trying to think about what windows we got on the ship. Braxon could ask for some people to watch to see if they can see anyone watching the ship.
Yeah, they definitely you want to have them be below decks as opposed to on deck watching. That's what your goal is.
We should do our normal above deck stuff, because if we change our routine, it will become obvious to anyone watching us. But if there's ships nearby, that might be something that could be spotted from the cabins. So maybe Braxton have some people in his cabin when he's not there, or I think he's got windows. No, it's the back that's got windows, isn't it?
Despite the artwork, I mean, I would say that any outward-facing, since your ship doesn't land in water,
yeah,
it can have windows anywhere. Obviously, the the helm room and the officer's mess. Those have a lot of windows.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be portholes, windows in most of the outward-facing cabins, with the exception of Leva's and Solas's, because those were converted from the cargo hold.
Okay. I guess we'll have some people hanging back from the windows, but looking out of them.
Okay.
That
Also,
reminds me.
real fast. Also, the your shuttle. Given that it is designed to look like a small sailing vessel, small galleon type vessel,
Yeah.
also has some windows as well, and
And
that's high up.
yeah, that is high up. Yeah, sorry, Dokami.
Solas would actually like to have windows installed to his room.
Yeah, you might have to get that paid for.
Nah, it's something that he is willing to pay for.
It'll probably
Just
be a while before you can get to a place that you can get that done. If there's a point when you're in a port for repairs, that's something that you can lump in. It will be extra, obviously, but that's going to be your best bet. It's not something that you can just cut a hole in the...
Get a glassy spell like Leva does, because she raves on about how amazing that spell is.
Yes. It's not permanent. I don't know. She doesn't
You can
know
make
whether
it.
this could be made permanent.
I'm pretty sure it can be made permanent.
Okay.
That way you have a window that's a wall.
Leva has a question to the DM.
So you mean you have a question to the DM?
The spell.
Leva has found her deity.
She did? No, she hasn't. She's not very good. She doesn't know about this stuff.
You can worship the
that's
DM.
all weird.
You can
You're
worship the
weird
DM, that's
anyway.
fine. All right, go ahead.
The spell prestidigitation. Does she need to know what's in the people's pockets to actually go and steal it? Or can she just sort of do the equivalent of rummage around in the people's pockets to try and take something?
I think if you don't know what's in there, then it's just going to be you get what you get kind of thing. Let me take a quick look at the spell. Okay.
Didn't they turn out
Oh, I think it allows you to pick pockets, not that the spell picks pockets. Like, it's not a disembodied hand kind of thing. Yeah, it allows you
Are
to
you
pick
sure?
pockets. Yeah.
Allows him to teleport small objects. Can cause pickpockets. Can pickpockets. It's not altogether clear.
Right, the spell heightens the manual dexterity of the Wu-Gen, meaning what you can do with your hands. It does allow you to teleport small objects to different parts on your body.
Mm.
The Wu-Gen can pick pockets, cause small objects to disappear from his hand, and cause objects on his person to suddenly appear in his hand. Meaning that, like, that second part is the standard magician's trick of, oh, what's that behind your ear? Oh, it's a coin.
Mm-hmm.
But whereas they do it with actual, real prestidigitation, as in manual dexterity, you're teleporting it from your pocket. However, this also allows you to have greater manual dexterity in actually picking someone's pocket.
Okay, because what she is going to tell the others is if they see somebody observing the ship, she may not actually tell the others, but she's thinking of going and stealing, pickpocketing that person. So she has something that she can use the tracking spell on.
Okay.
Track.
Yeah, so basically, like, you would basically just reach into their pocket, try to grab something, and
Mm-hmm. Anything.
yeah, you just whatever is in there, you try to grab, and
Yes.
you get what's there, rather than. And then once it's in your hand, you can cause it to teleport someplace else, like your other hand. But
Yeah.
it has to be in your hand first.
Yes. And she's thinking of doing that because, I mean, how else would she get something that's close to the person that she can use tracking on? And then
Without
she could
them
track that.
knowing, that's a good question.
I'm sorry?
Well, without, I mean, like,
Yeah.
obviously you could attack them and beat them down and take something from them, but at that point you've already attacked them and
No,
you have other
it can be
options there. But
if it can be done without them realizing it,
Yeah.
it's much better. She'd probably go and talk to Lafdul about it, maybe.
Oh,
Does she even know that Lafdul can pickpocket? Lafdul, have you ever told her?
I think you'd be aware that Lafdul is good with his hands, sleight of hand kind of thing, and that's a common skill for picking pockets. Doesn't necessarily mean that he picks pockets.
Okay. So she would definitely go and talk to Lafdul about this. She does. She sort of gets a feeling the others might not be all in favor of something like that.
hmm. Have you had a new calling in life? Have you?
I'm sorry. No, look, you see, I've got this in the book. There's this a spell that took over from Symbol. It's tracking, but I need something that's close to that person, and I reckon that anything they have in their pockets might be close to the people, might be close to the person. Assuming she doesn't just pull out, let's say, a handkerchief or something like that, and even that could be close.
I mean, that's sort of what we did for tracking down Red Njord. We stole something from his ship, in the
Yes.
manner of speaking.
hmm But if you say there's somebody who observes the ship, then if she manages to steal something out of his pocket, out of that person's creature's pocket, and it's something close to that creature, then she could cast tracking on it, and we could follow this person this creature without actually following this creature. We could just follow the tracking, the tracks.
Suppose. Yeah, that's always obviously. I have a similar means, and if I can plant something on them, I can also track them. As long as they're within a mile, I think.
So what do you think is easier, getting something out of their pockets or planting something on them?
Either is equally difficult, because planting something on someone, well,
It's essentially the exact same skill involved.
mechanic
Yeah,
game, but
Yeah, out of game. I mean, the game rule wise, it's the exact same mechanic, which that may give you an idea here.
hmm So what do you think, Lafdul?
no, I think it's a good idea.
But we have to observe this stuff because at least Leva has never seen this creature, so she doesn't know whom you're talking about. It would you'd need to recognize it, or him or her.
Yeah, it's probably a town full of skullduggery. People do this all the time.
hmm
I mean, because we're the new folk in town, someone's obviously seen who we are and they don't like us, probably.
Yeah.
What do you want? You just asking if it was a bad idea, or
No, because Leva has never seen this creature. She doesn't know whether she would recognize it if it stood in front of her. So she needs somebody who's actually seen that person.
The person that was spotted outside of the tavern.
Yes.
Okay, they
The one who talked to the group.
I could read Braxon's memory and wonder if I'll be able to see them, I guess.
there wasn't a they didn't talk to the group. There was a note found
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Braxon saw
And,
someone.
And the person Braxon saw was suspicious looking
Everyone's
in their
suspicious
behavior.
looking.
Let me go and ask Braxon. So she goes and talks to Braxon about how this creature looked like. Braxon.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what the person looked like to Braxon. Braxon probably saw a Frenchman trapped in a box.
What?
No, they
You
were
mean
they were
Schrodinger's cat?
they were about human height, with a cloak hood pulled up, so you could not see their face.
Right.
Pretty much.
Did it look similar to the guy we saw in the shop with our new friend?
Height was different.
Would you
And you didn't
recognize him?
notice any oddness in the gait, but there is a possibility. I mean, you
Could have been one of the others from out the back.
yeah,
Um,
and you got the
Could I-
impression that each individual was going to be substantially different.
Could have been a lanky hobgoblin.
could I recognise them again? Well, if there's a load of short people around them, I might be able to guess that it might be the same person. But
Okay.
I only got a quick look at them, and by the time I told everyone else to have a look, no one else could see them. They just melted away.
Okay. Do you still have the note?
Oh yeah. Braxton would have
Because-
shown the note to everyone.
Could Leva have it for a moment? Because
Yeah, of course.
it might be from, it might just by chance be a piece of paper from a pad that is that's close to the person,
Yeah, maybe you can use.
and maybe she can use the tracking spell to track it.
Yeah,
So she
if you
uses
could.
tracking on it.
All right, let me take a quick look.
That's going to be hilarious.
Psst.
She's probably going to end up tracking Braxton because he picked it up.
She doesn't care. I
Certainly
mean, it's worth a
possible.
try.
It's certainly possible. Let me see what tracking says about.
Oh,
the
you
nature
have
of the
to check
items.
with it.
Yeah,
whether it
like
actually works.
would this be considered close enough to them? I mean, it's a scrap of paper. It's not like a full
What?
sheet, so.
Yeah,
Is,
but there's ink on it. Maybe it's their personal ink.
is Level still with Braxton, or is she taking the note away and taking it to Lafdul?
I think by that time she would have she would have called at least Lafdul, if not the others, because for using tracking on a piece of paper is something that's totally harmless.
Okay, Braxton says to, says to everyone there, really. Braxton says, do you think that they might have put an invisible message on this?
So real fast. Tracking, is that a spell that you already had?
It's in the book. It's from the book.
That's that spell that you change.
Right. It's a pre-spell then. Or
It's
a
level
pre-spell.
8.
Pre-spell.
It's level 8
yeah.
pre-spell.
Got it. I forgot that
That's
was
why I
the
said
current page.
we have to figure out whether it works at all.
Yep.
First.
Nope. Give me a second. I was looking in the wrong place.
I think you had Finn wanted to learn that, but you needed to put Lev in a hunting situation for him to learn it on someone.
Well, okay. Finn, come. I'm going to cast tracking if it works.
Yeah, Finn will observe again and see if he can pick it up.
Probably fail this time.
It's a shame you didn't. No, there's like certain horizons that can help you with memory, but I don't think there's one for a spell. It's probably more complicated than that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think that this will work. And you get kind of a sense of where this has been. And you just kind of like mentally follow in your head like where this has gone. And real quickly, you're like it's kind of like a glowing thing on the ground. You can see it go back to Braxon, but then your sense quickly changes, and you look at Lafdul.
Uh-huh.
Lafdul gives Lever an odd look.
Lafdul.
What?
She shows the piece of paper to Lafdul. Lafdul.
What
Was
have I
that
done?
you? Was that you?
Lafdul whistles innocently enough.
Lafdul and Innocence.
It was Lafdul. He was
Lafdul
playing
and
a practical joke on us. A prank. It's a prank.
Lafdul
my
and
God,
Innocence.
what?
Two
What?
words that don't go together.
It was great, wasn't it? I mean, you were all paranoid. No, but it keeps you on edge, just in case that thing were to happen. Who's to say it isn't?
Okay.
You made me spend one of those precious spells from the book to find out that it was you with a practical
Well, I didn't
joke.
know you were going to do that. Otherwise, I might have thought something else. It was actually quite clever. Well done.
So did
Okay.
I manage to
She
observe
goes-
anything?
Yes. So you observed her casting the spell, and you think that you can now pray for that spell. You won't know until the next day, and you actually try to pray for the spell, though.
Okay.
But you know, I don't mind telling you right now that that will succeed.
Okay.
So Lever passes the note on to Finnel and says, "Why don't you try on the note tomorrow to see whether it actually works? You
So-
should get the same result."
So
Okay.
Braxon crosses his arms and says, "So those men I've got sitting behind chairs looking out the windows don't need to be doing that."
Oh,
Well,
that's a
not
good idea in
necessarily.
general.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Just that the reason that you got them to do that wasn't exactly accurate. Doesn't mean that
Maybe-
they. It doesn't mean that their efforts are wasted, though.
Yeah. Braxon strokes his chin and says, "Maybe I should just get one of them to follow Lafdul round."
Yeah, that's a good idea. Lever chimes in.
They're going to hate their life, because I'm just going to be sitting in my room all day, cutting gems or something.
Okay.
Or become invisible.
So
All that.
yeah, so considering you were too busy to come with us because you were cutting gems.
Oh, I just basically thought, someone has to watch over the group, so
Okay.
I've watched over the group.
And he got
Okay.
finished cutting gems early. Had a little
Well,
extra time on his hand.
I cut all the
Okay.
fancy gems. There's only the mundane ones left.
So while you were making me suspicious and
what I
testing my
do.
reflexes, did you observe anyone that was watching us?
Not really.
Right.
Nothing that came to mind.
Yeah, because I'm thinking it's kind of sparked off by you, but I'm thinking we have a big ship. The ship doesn't exist in the sphere. It would probably be quite useful to anyone that wanted to reverse engineer the ship, so they can build new ships.
There's going to be hundreds of people that have hundreds of ideas. It's hard to differentiate one person that sticks out that has nefarious plans for us.
Oh yeah. No, I just mean we need to be careful about that sort of thing, because we're heavily outnumbered and don't have masses of friends here.
It's more the fact that it's very hard to replace that crew.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's why I was wondering if there were some people we could rescue that would have an incentive to help us. Okay, should we get back to our main order of business then?
Did I fail that thing? Read memory none.
Yes, you did.
All right.
So hang on, were you trying to read Braxon's memory of?
No.
That would be quite clever.
I did pose the question though to say that I could just read Brax's memory to see if I could get the memory of who was stalking you. Then Lafdul could say, yeah, I know exactly who it is. Lafdul goes off by himself.
Yeah, but you've given the game away though.
No, Lever cheated.
She cheated.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She used,
What do you mean she
magic.
cheated?
Use magic.
Well,
Yeah,
she
well,
used-
she's a mage. That's why. That's she's supposed to use magic. What did she
Lever-
use? Her daggers?
Well, Lever
Keen
cheated.
intellect.
Lever cheated by using the talk to the DM spell.
Well, she didn't really. She wanted to know some information, and it followed up from there. And then she found the solution just accidentally. Really. What do you mean intellect? There's no intellect in a piece of paper.
No, and the
Actually, what we
person-
should do is take a note of the handwriting, and next time we get a note, we compare the two.
It was in block
It was
text.
red. It was scruffy handwriting.
I mean, it would have been in block text.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lafdul's not about to make that kind of mistake.
There you go.
Next
Oh,
time
no,
you
it's-
use some neutral paper, right?
That was a spur of the moment kind of. Well, I
So
don't know
what-
how
and what-
long I've got to own the item for it. How does that spell work? How long does that person have to? How do you
It's-
associate?
It's like 2 days.
Oh, so.
That was rather quick, though. So you had the
Yeah.
piece of paper for 2 days.
Yeah, I
All
just
the ink.
got a piece of scrap out of my book. So the item was mine anyway, so.
Oh, well, no problem then. Ha! See?
Next time I'll
Yeah.
find something inside the room to write on.
Well, actually, if you really think about it, next time you should take something that Lever had. Imagine how she'd react if the tracking spell pointed back towards her.
You could just put that down to how your magic just plays funny buggers with you.
No, I don't think so. Or would it? Old?
No, it's an interpretation. I'm not saying it literally would.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Well, if you took something from Lever to write a note on,
Yeah.
and then do the same, I mean, then it would sort of belong to Lever, and the tracking spell will point back to her.
Yes, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, just playing it off. That's just your magic playing silly.
Just wait. Next time you'll see a GIF.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, Lafdul is afraid of GIF.
Sorry, no need to remind everyone. Everyone's afraid of something.
So, Lafdul, you find your backside is pretty itchy right now.
Oh,
Yeah, not like
I wonder.
anything that would interfere. Like, if you were in a tight situation where combat situation or something like that, you could ignore it. But it's
I don't know.
it's persistent
I would
right now, and it's just like, oh, it's so so itchy.
So it's as good a time as any to see if these new herbs work. Do I recognize
Do you want to test those?
the...
Do you want to test those herbs from this sphere?
I instantly glare at Finn because I'm pretty sure it's a similar magic I used last time.
Who are you glaring at?
Finn. Whether or not it is him or not, I don't know.
Finn, how do you
He's
feel
my
about
chief suspect?
Lafdul glaring at you?
Probably just ignore it.
Unlike that itchiness that Lafdul's feeling, can't quite ignore it.
It's gonna be annoying for a little while. Scratch, scratch, scratch.
Yeah. It goes away after about 15, 20 minutes, but no amount of scratching seemed to get rid of that.
Are you okay, Lafdul?
I must have picked something up, clearly. After shrugs.
Yeah, maybe it's something you sat in.
I didn't sit on anything, that's the thing, though.
Maybe it was in your bed.
And then he looks in his bed and there's a duck.
Yeah. I'm not even sure how I should answer that. See, Lafdul was going to be nice to Finn and make himself a tree so he can pray for a couple hours. But
what? Hang on. You want to turn yourself into a tree so that Finn prays
Finn
to you?
said he missed... Well, now that you say it like that, yes, it sounds like a fantastic idea. But he said he missed trees, and I can turn myself into a tree.
If you turn yourself into a tree and
Finn can also turn himself into a dog, you know.
Yeah, he can also turn himself into a tree as
well. Dog and tree generally have very clear connection.
It took me a few seconds to realise that. I'll just make it in a rather awkward place that the dog can't get close to. I'm pretty sure, though, fouling on the ship's an offence.
Not if it's funny enough.
Wow.
Very good fertilizer.
Well, the decks would need swabbing a bit, but So where would you make yourself into a tree? In your own cabin?
Can't, because a tree needs roots, and roots need to go somewhere. So would he just use the wood to drive his roots through, or how would that work?
I appear like a tree. I'm not. I don't know. Am I literally a tree?
I'd have to look at the spell. I don't think it's a big deal right now.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, yes, you are literally a tree.
It's the 3rd level priest spell.
I'm getting the urge, which might get AuldDragon copyright strike from Clint Eastwood.
All right, so all of that aside, guys,
part of D&D.
Have the next day. Did you want to go to Margoth's shop, or did you want to wait for her to come to you?
Solas wants to visit the arena.
Okay.
Didn't somebody want to check something before we confirmed to her that we were leaving?
Yeah, in the arena. Since there was one of the temples in the arena.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else want to go?
Well, Braxon go as a bodyguard at the very least.
Yeah, once in a blue moon, Lafdul will stretch his legs, I suppose, even though he hates this place.
I guess I'll go along too.
Lever will come too.
Okay. Are you taking any extra precautions before going?
No, I'm using my hat of disguise, and I'm covering up my scent, and I will use disguise proficiency on Solas.
Can't we...
Lever will polymorph herself into a normal human being.
Can't we
Don't
turn...
you know that spell, Solas? Sorry, Braxon.
It's alright. I was going to say, can't we just turn Lafdul into a tree and pretend we're taking him off to sell him?
You'd be an exotic round
If
here.
Lafdul turns himself into a tree, can we just call him Treebeard from now on?
He doesn't have a beard, though.
I can use my hat of disguise to grow a beard, though. My facial features are highly mutable.
Yeah, but that's
Lafdul...
it's just illusion.
Lafdul does look a bit like a model. We could call him Twiggy.
I don't really find that offensive. There are worse things out there.
It wasn't supposed to be offensive. It was just a bad pun.
No, but wow, yeah, I know, but it some reason it came across like that.
Look, that's my job description for the stream. Makes bad jokes.
Oh, by the way, Leva will also cast the Detect Scrying. And Old,
Mm-hmm.
have you done the level variation?
For both of them, yep.
Okay.
What about wild surges?
That's if the level variation indicates it, then there's a wild surge. If it doesn't indicate it, then there's no wild surge. Level variation means check to see if there is a wild surge.
Ah,
Okay, so Leva has polymorphed herself. Lafdul, you have successfully disguised Solas.
Hmm.
And you guys get going, heading to the arena of mediation.
Did we need to put a smell onto Lafdul?
He said that
I
he
said like,
took care of that.
yeah.
Okay, right, fair enough.
Lafdul will hang back to the from the group slightly. I will keep watch, so to speak, because you're all paranoid about us being followed and stuff.
Now the question is whether they trust you to do that.
No,
Well,
Braxon.
my Leva has Detect Scrying on, so she will detect some things.
Braxon trusts Lafdul.
He
He
does?
just thinks, yeah, he just thinks it's a bit weird.
Lafdul doesn't trust Lafdul, so how do you respond to that?
Solas just wonders if Lafdal can concentrate on looking for potential lookouts while he's so itchy.
That wore off.
Leva trusts Lafdul unless he opens his mouth when she tries to learn a new spell. Then she doesn't trust him at all.
I think Solas also fell under that curse.
Not that she carries a grudge or anything like that.
Oh no, of
course
course not. No.
Solas trusts Lafdal to ruin his opportunities to learn.
So, will we go into the arena or one of these other religions?
The arena.
The arena.
Right.
So
We
you
were told.
you make your way through the city, and you see the walls of the arena rising ahead of you. This is not as large as the arena back on Brawl, the arena of Frun. You'd guess that at the most it can hold a few hundred at a time. But there is a large square structure attached to one edge of it. And that is clearly the temple itself. On the high walls, the high gray granite walls of the arena, you do see a variety of banners, not just the banners that you see around the town, the city, but quite a few others. You could guess that some of them are probably not goblins. Some of them might be ogreish or orcish or something like that. Many of them are quite old, and you do see amongst them very tattered, burnt in some places, some of them stained with a bit of blood, very old blood, banners and flags from the Imperial Navy.
Oh.
Yeah, Lafdul immediately feels uncomfortable here.
So you make your way to the structure itself. You can tell that there's clearly some sort of duel going on inside the arena at this time.
Okay.
But
Just before we go in, Braxton's going to try and remember those banners.
Yeah, Lafdul wants to burn them down or something.
Solas asks if Braxon is willing to loan the ring. That allows to speak with other languages.
Oh, because you've got questions, have you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very
At
well.
what point are you going to start to learn your language?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to start learning the language soon. Okay. Probably. Well, if we're gonna get someone to come with us to go somewhere else, that'd be a good time to learn. So then that'd be when I can't lend the ring anymore.
Could you not ask your questions through Braxon or?
I mean, he hasn't started learning yet because he doesn't have anyone to learn off of.
Yeah.
Also, learning language takes weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to learn off of one person. Like, it's not like just being
Right.
around a whole bunch of people speaking the same language works. No, you have to learn off of someone.
Okay.
Don't forget, Eva is there too, and she speaks the illicit trade language and a few other things, a few others that is spoken here.
That's true. Yeah, Braxton, a hand over the ring.
Who didn't come with us?
I don't know if Finn came with us.
Finn didn't say that he was.
Unless there's a dog walking behind Braxton.
Yeah, I think
Dog waiting for Lafdul to turn into a tree.
Lafdul's never turning into a tree without dogs around.
All right, so you make your way to the temple structure, and you are greeted by a goblin and a hobgoblin who ask in Goblin what services you wish of the temple, or whether you wish to schedule a formalized duel.
Greetings. We would require information services of Temple's vast knowledge.
They kind of look at each other and say, and then turn back to you, and the hobgoblin says, "What kind of information are you looking for?"
We have heard about these sage-like creatures that live in this sphere, and we are looking for them. So we would like to inquire if you would have anything that might help us in our searches.
We'll fetch the high priest for you. He may know something of these creatures, or we do not.
We are very grateful for your assistance.
So they allow you to wait in a kind of a large antechamber, and this chamber is decorated with scenes of goblins and hobgoblins standing, like shoulder to shoulder against dwarves and elves and gnomes and humans and many other races. The depictions are pretty old. Like these are obviously not new.
So Lafdul's inside the temple, am I?
Unless you wanted to stay outside.
Probably would feel rather uncomfortable in there, but as long as
You can stay outside in the arena if you want.
I mean, it's up to you.
No, I'll stay with the group unless I feel
You could go
extremely
gambling.
Oh, no.
So are you in or out?
No, I'm in.
Okay.
Of.
All right.
Close to the exit, basically.
And like these are clearly images designed to inspire camaraderie against the villainous enemies of the goblin and hobgoblin races. The depictions aren't exactly accurate. The dwarves are clearly too large, too muscular. Every one of the elves depicted is hurling around magic, killing magic is kind of what it seems to indicate. So it's obviously like, yeah, and their the ears are exaggerated and their faces are twisted into evil grins and stuff like that.
Lafdul's like, oh, drow. That's his interpretation.
Solas looks at the
Skin color's wrong though.
Solas looks these pictures with academic interest.
But shortly thereafter, a well-dressed hobgoblin arrives. You'd guess he's in his middle years, but he arrives and says, the foreign visitors seeking information. I am
Yes,
Brorka, the High Priest of the halls, the Arena of Mediation.
I am greetings. I am Solas, and we are from the company of the Broken Sword, and we find ourselves in this strange sphere. So we are looking for these sage creatures that should have information that we seek.
And
Dragons.
what sort of information are you looking for?
We are seeking a way home.
And I'm not sure that I can help you with that.
Well, the sage-like creatures, from what we have heard, would be able to tell us the way home. So if you have any information about these sage-like creatures, like these giant intelligent slug,
It's a
or
foul.
these,
We
or
have
these,
not. I have not had any personal dealings with them. I have heard that the singing spheres can be found mostly over by the giant mushroom kingdom, if that's what you are looking for. The slug I've heard rumors of, but I don't know anything about it. I could direct you to the general areas of the dragons, which are rumored to have vast knowledge at their disposal, but I do not know if they would be welcoming to visitors. I
The
do not
dragons
know of any who have had dealings with them.
dragons rarely are, but they might be something that we still have to look for.
Well, I would require a donation to our great works here, ensuring that our great races, the goblins and the hobgoblins, can stand together against the evil villains that they so often have to face around here. If you are willing to offer a donation, I may be able to give you some help in that regard.
Solas will translate this to the rest of the group.
Isn't it like heresy to donate to an opposing church, so to speak?
Not heresy, but you're like you in particular. You don't know how Erevan would feel about.
Oh no,
such a
I
thing.
definitely wouldn't. Never.
Well, how much do you want to give him?
I think since the limitations on our resources are what we have is quite severe. The things that we would give are money if we give anything. Since we can't so easily replenish other supplies. Money or gems, I would say.
How much money and gems do you want to offer him?
Does anyone else have anything to say about this? Everyone except Finn came along.
Solas is not forcing anyone but to participate in this.
I don't
Are you
really
doing
have
the
anything to
translation
add
back and forth?
about the rest of you guys.
I'll have to be like, yeah.
Solas understands if someone doesn't want to participate for religious reasons.
You just said that out loud, or
In our language.
I'm
you
probably
assume
gonna,
that he doesn't understand our language?
I'm probably gonna stay out of it.
I mean, it's not that far-fetched that certain religions don't want you to donate to other religious organizations.
Painting a giant flag on me here.
Leva doesn't care. She's not religious.
Yet.
What do you mean yet? She's not religious.
Well,
you don't know what the future holds.
That's
Solas
true.
is let's see. Solas is willing to donate 100 platinum coins from his own money.
That's a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Leva just looks at you with big eyes and goes, "Jesus." Huh. Shakes
Yeah.
her head and walks
If
away.
no one else is participating.
Yeah, Ockar's not gonna donate anything.
You know, if he's deity gets information, he'll be happy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but 100 platinum? Ah, Leva knows a lot better things to
knowledge
do
is
with 100
priceless.
platinum.
100 platinum is 500 gold pieces.
Yeah, she knows a lot better things to do with those.
I would have gone for 100 gold. I thought I was being generous.
Well, let's see if they say that's enough.
For that, yeah. You're also going to stand like a sort of rich travellers.
Yeah, you might want to start low and haggle up. But yeah, okay. You also don't want to insult the man.
Okay, so you are offering 500 platinum. 100 platinum.
100.
Yeah, 100 platinum.
Mm-hmm.
The hobgoblin waves over a goblin acolyte to take your sack of coins, and he gives you a wide grin, and he says, Bargriviek will look kindly upon this donation. We thank you. This will be a great boon in our struggles against those who would do harm to our great races. Now, the dragons that you are interested in would probably be the two oldest ones that I am aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Nomaroth and Garverax, those are the two. Neither of them are particularly close to our realm here. Let me actually take a quick look to see if you've been near either of them.
Does he tell the color of those dragons?
He is not really aware. He knows that one of them is dark in color, but he doesn't know about the other one. He does know that they're both very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He'll give you enough of a description that you could get to roughly where their lairs are believed to be. Nomaroth is back near where the kobolds were.
Okay.
And let me actually go ahead and put something on the map. You're probably not going to be able to see this until you get into the area, but here's my text. There we go.
Well, I'm at least on the ship layout at the moment.
Oh, you guys are in the ship layout? Oops. Oh, yeah, so you are. You should have been over here.
Okay.
I forgot that you guys were left there. Sorry about that.
Narmaroth's the one near the kobolds, is it?
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you the spellings of them in a moment.
Yeah, we're all
Did we-
struggling in. trying to figure it out.
Yeah, we're all trying to guess the spelling. But that's part of the fun. I'm waiting for it all to start using monsters' names that are like Latin for ham to see if anyone notices.
Okay, so that's off back by the kobolds for that one, and the other one is Garverax, and that's the dark colored one. He doesn't know, like he wouldn't know if that's black or just like, you know, really dark red or blue or something like that. It's just he tends to attack only in he's said to attack only in darkness kind of thing, which, considering where you are, may not really mean much.
Yeah.
Did he say where it was, or he didn't know?
Yeah, sorry. He is very close to the Hobgoblin port.
What was that
Okay.
port called again?
That one is Port Mogoth.
Is it roughly in what direction from the Kobold Port Dragon?
So Namaroth is. Do you remember how when you came in and you went to the right to get to the Cobalt port?
Mm-hmm.
If you'd kind of continued going right from there a bit, not straight right, but it's further to the right from there.
It was basically about southwest southeast if you think the from where
Just east.
look the map
to the east.
What about the dragon near the Hobgoblin port?
So I've put labels on the map. If you get to those areas, you can look for them.
Yeah, Port Morgoth is also the port where the humans sail to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me give you. Go ahead and type in the those dragon names for. Give me a second. Actually, let me type that into the Roll20 chat.
Mm-hmm. None of us got it right.
Well, almost.
There you
go. What about the singing spheres and the Myconids? Does he know anything about them?
He doesn't know anything about them specifically, other than he has heard that they tend to be in that. You did pass by a passage that supposedly led to the Myconid Kingdom.
Does he know about the Myconids?
Only that with good Roth butter, they can be quite tasty.
So you do not know if they are open to visitors or...
Supposedly some trade with them, but I do not deal much with trade.
Okay. And what did he have to say about the slug?
He doesn't know anything about it other than that it supposedly exists.
Does he know any other knowledgeable creatures? Or people?
Well, if you're looking for information, the Illithids are always collecting information. Whether they'd be willing to trade it with you is another question. The Darrow are quite interested in magical knowledge, so they may have something if you want to. They may have information if you deal with them. But I do not have much. I have not had much dealing with them, with either of them.
And you do not know any other potential sources of knowledge?
I mean, like, you're kind of asking for sages as opposed to just old people who know things, so...
Yeah.
No, in terms of sages, those would be where he would direct you.
How many people are around here? In this temple?
You've probably seen 20 people coming and going, at least half of whom are priests or acolytes.
Oh, fair few then.
Yeah.
I would think it's not a small temple.
No, it's a good sized structure. I mean, it's one of the largest buildings in the city. Not just the, even if you separate out the arena and ignore that part, this building itself, it's probably, I'd say it's probably third largest building not including like row house type buildings where all the buildings are mashed together and share walls, kind of thing.
One other thing that Solas is going to inquire is if he has any since this is a strange sphere for us, if he has knowledge of the history of this sphere.
Oh, I do not know too much about what went on before we arrived. I know that there were constant wars between the races that already existed here. We were forced to carve out our own locations here when we arrived. But what I do know is that some of those who try to maintain connections and bring in other refugees fleeing the great war against the evil elves, they, at some point, they were unable to continue to find the spheres that they were using to do that.
So you're saying that the Phlogiston rivers changed course?
I believe that is it, yes.
Does any party member know if that's something that happens often? Or not often, but...
Braxon would know that that is extremely common outside of stable flow structures, like the Radiant Triangle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're most likely in a bit of an unstable part of...
Not necessarily. It's just that, like, I mean, I don't know if you were with the party at the time, but the party has encountered a situation where there was another sphere that the party went to that had been lost because the Phlogiston rivers shifted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the Rhaegar one.
Yeah.
This was the Elven one, the one with the Elven base.
Yeah, they probably weren't praying hard enough to Ptar.
That one was lost.
Yeah.
Yes, it was lost. You had to find an alternate route there.
Was that entire sphere empty then,
or? There weren't any civilizations in there that you were aware of.
Oh, was that where we found the Witchlight Marauder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, does this person know about Witchlight Marauders?
No. No. There will be no questions about that.
Yeah, no.
It seems almost like a natural response.
Does any of the party members have anything that they are interested in asking?
Lafdul's going to look at all the depictions for any Witchlight Marauders.
There are not.
Oh.
Like, you're pretty sure that these are not
accurate.
Well, they're not intended to show specific events. It's all stylized. It's all like, it's political. It's political art.
I suppose what we could ask is, do they have a list of names of spheres that they came from before the rivers changed? Did they have any navigation charts or anything?
He would tell you that someone may, but this temple does not.
Okay.
And he can't direct you to someone who may.
Yeah.
So actually, that sphere with that Elven crown base might be a connecting sphere to one of these. In this manner of speaking, at least.
It might be, but if it is, then chances are no one's really aware that. No one's really aware of it. Because you would have encountered ships in that sphere.
Don't mention the war.
thing is, I kind of do. Not specifically, but it's more
I'm
of a case of like an observation for like a museum. Do they keep like? So Lafdul's going to ask, do they have any kind of like museum of like relics of old, and would they be willing to give us a tour? Because it seems quite fascinating to learn about this history you have.
Solas, are you going to translate that?
I'll ask about it.
We do, but it is open to goblins and hobgoblins only. Shows off our great victories and the trophies taken from the foul beasts that attacked us unprovoked. Drove us out of our original homes. You're definitely picking up that there's some
Spite.
Yeah, residual anger there.
Yeah. Just a tiny bit.
He goes on to say, we must continue to remember these atrocities that were committed against us so that we can be united should they ever find us and come after us again.
Do I notice anything significant in this temple? You know, like some kind of like display, like something against some kind of like paraphernalia against like elves or something.
I mean, the artwork showing evil villainous elves
other than
slaughtering
that.
goblins and hobgoblins.
Other than,
Not really. I mean, they're like, and they're wearing badly represented Imperial uniforms. Like,
based on the burnt the tatters out on the outside, probably.
well, no, I mean those are flags and stuff. More just like probably oral, based on oral stories from passed down kind of thing, as opposed to first-hand knowledge.
So the artist probably wasn't alive when that happened or something.
Yeah.
Artist might have not seen any dwarves or elves before.
Correct. That's a good assumption based on the inaccuracies in the artwork.
I suppose you could ask him. I think we're in our welcome if we're not too careful. But I suppose you could ask him if he knows the way to their home sphere. If they know the way back to their home sphere.
He already indicated that the way that they got here is lost.
Yeah,
the river.
He said that they basically couldn't bring any more refugees in since the Phlogiston River has changed their direction.
All right.
Has no one tried to figure out their way back?
I mean, that's kind of like, just set off in a random direction and hope you get to your destination. Like,
Well, maybe someone's done it, but I'm guessing it wouldn't be this lot because they're still here.
No, but he's a high priest. People like to talk about their accomplishments to their faith.
Yeah. Well, you could ask if they know of any explorers that have tried to go back.
Well, he's kind of indicated already that he doesn't have much to do with ships and shipping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'd probably be better off. Probably be better off going to the place where they repair ships or something.
Does he know any? As a high priest, he might know some legends of this sphere.
He would indicate that no, he hasn't put much stock in the false tales of those who already lived here.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they would like to inquire?
Nothing.
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Well, then Solas will thank them for their time and says that this information has given us more clues on which direction we should go. So I thank you for it.
And you are quite welcome. Thank you for the generous donation to the cause of joining the goblins against their vile enemies and the elves and the dwarves and the giants and all the others. Bargriviek will look kindly upon you forevermore.
Solas shrugs.
Braxon will bow and thank the guy.
Alright, and you take your leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you make your way back to your ship, or do you want to do something else?
Can we see if I can get, like, on the way back? I'm just looking at the Elven Imperial Navy flags, and is there any, like, stylized, something that would indicate their age, like a certain marking on it that I haven't seen in recent years?
You're pretty sure that they're all at least 300 years old. They, like, the emblem of the Navy has changed slightly, perhaps. Most of them are like individual ship banners. None of which you recognize, none of which would mean anything directly to you other than just recognizing it as an individual ship banner.
I'm just going to personally memorize them to the best of my ability. When we get back to the ship, I'm going to write down what I remember them looking like.
Okay.
Is there any writing or other symbols on those elven banners?
No.
That might.
Well, I mean, some of them might have some elven writing.
Sigmas, who was the expert in heraldry, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know that Braxon will be able to look at two different flags. And
has anyone else taken heraldry?
Yeah. I want to speak to Lanelius about it.
Okay.
I mean, I think Braxon has a general idea that flags have differences that mean stuff.
And Glau does not have heraldry. Okay. There's a chance that
Solas does have heraldry.
You do have heraldry. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a check?
When did you pick up?
You should do, yeah.
Heraldry, I have had it from the start.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just does a boast.
So yes, you would definitely recognize that the Imperial Navy emblems are from the time of the Unhuman War. So they're over 300 years old. You don't recognize the individual ships' flags by any means. You do recognize a couple as being like there's some dwarven emblems, probably like emblems of individual citadel ships. Like nothing that you actually recognize, just that you recognize the style, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they all look like they have battle damage. You know, some are maybe some, you know, there's some blood on some, cuts, tears,
bit burned.
A bit burned, some of them, yeah, stuff like that. Others, you're just going on guesses here, but you suspect that some of them are like kobold, orcish, that kind of thing. There's also clearly ones that are put in positions of, you know, like, this isn't a trophy, this is something to admire. And those, not only are the banners you've seen around for the tribes in this town, but there are, you know, other goblin and hobgoblin emblems as well.
Where?
I have one question about the heraldry proficiency. Or heraldry in general in D&D. Does the races and different nations follow the similar rules in their heraldry?
I mean, they're internally consistent. They're not consistent across national boundaries. I mean, like racial boundaries.
Okay, so you couldn't tell if a figure is marching to the left that it is attacking figure or something like that.
Only if you're aware that that is how they follow, that race or nation follows that standard.
Okay.
What you might...
might.
Go on.
I'm just trying to build a picture. This is an arena.
Yeah.
So to speak, and they're like hanging around various locations of the arena, or are they all concentrated?
They're hanging around the top side of the arena wall. So this is well out of reach. Talking like 30, 40 feet up kind of thing. And they're lining the top.
How? This may be a potential heist for me to steal the flag. So I'm like sizing up the area.
So Lafdul decides to play capture the flag with the whole goblin
man.
town.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's going to be like the Benny Hill show, isn't it?
How big? This is more of a personal, like religious reasons more than anything else as to why I'll be doing this. How? When you say they're high up, I mean, how are they affixed?
They
just on a pole?
No, they're hanging down the wall. So like a tapestry kind of thing.
Is there like a battlement above it, or a walkway?
You don't think that it's a walkway per se? It's hard to say. Like you'd probably have to go into the arena and go into the stands to get an idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the same time, we're also talking goblins and hobgoblins. They probably don't have any sort of OSHA-like belief in making sure that the people who handle this are protected from falls.
They don't follow the Church of OSHA.
There's probably a fair chance that whoever ends up taking them down or putting new ones up risks their life to do so.
It's not so bad when you can fly, though.
Paladin of OSHA would give so many citations of violations for them.
I mean, the fact that you're also not in a place where you get real weather protects them, but you would guess that many of them have been up there for over 100 years.
Is Paladin of OSHA going to be your next character, Solas?
Nope.
Oh god, ousted.
So exactly how they're attached up there, you're not sure. Like they may be tied, they may be sewn. Like it may just be if you could get up there, pull a rope.
How big are they?
They're flag sized. They're fairly standard flag sized.
Yeah, but they like body size of a person.
Not body size, no.
Smaller, so they could be wrapped up.
They could be, yeah. I mean, picture a flag on the back of a sailing ship kind of thing. It's not the size of a person.
Mm.
But you're still looking at a couple feet by a couple feet kind of thing.
Alright, I need to step away, but Lafdul will be taking mental notes of what's around here.
Okay.
Planning on that capture the flag game?
Maybe.
So, and one thing about heraldry is that for cultures that you're familiar with, Solas, you would know what they mean by their positioning.
Yeah.
It's when you get to unfamiliar cultures that it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be a problem. You can make guesses, but they'd just be guesses.
Mm-hmm.
Odd.
Mhm.
It's not my skill, heraldry, but are there people with lists that Solas could go to say this
Back
is
on
what
Brawl, maybe.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't
I mean-
it wouldn't hold individual ships, but it would give like, I mean, he learned a lot of this out of books of, you know,
Yeah.
lists of, this is how the elves do it, this is how the dwarves do it, this is how these humans do it, this is how these humans do it, that kind of thing. Information about, you know, races like Illithids and goblinoids tends to be sketchier.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, so
Well, I'm not so bothered about those. I just thought that are we somewhere where we could have a discussion about this, so I could say it in character rather than
You can get back to the ship and have a
Yeah.
discussion.
or get somewhere safe? No,
yeah,
I'm just thinking,
Solas did look the banners enough to basically make some kind of mental note of the styles there that were there.
right.
Lafdul
Well-
wants to write them down in the book as well. So Lafdul
Yeah.
will go with Solas and compare notes what we think they look like.
Okay. Well, Braxon will probably compare notes. Be not very good at it. Braxon would say if Lever can send a message, and we can get that message to someone in the Imperial Navy, they might be able to tell us where these banners were present in the known spheres.
You generally cannot get that kind of description. Like, you're limited to 25 words, and oftentimes, like, two ships may have banners that are almost the exact same, but with like one symbol flipped, and to specify, you know, whereas another ship has the same, almost the same banner, but with a separate item flipped. It takes a lot to accurately describe those in such a way that you're gonna get, you'd be able to get correct information about them.
I'm not sure if a Blaze
Also, the Elven Imperial Navy is so large that the likelihood that we could contact anyone who would be even remotely close to the sphere that those ships operated, or the sphere that has any information about those.
Forget how long elves live.
Yeah, the bigger thing is the issue of accurately describing the flags in the word limit. That's the problem. And still have enough other words to convey other meanings.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to cast, like, you know, multiple spells, okay, you know, then maybe you could do it, but
Well, not today, because there's only one sending memorized.
How many of those flags were there?
not too many. 5, 6, maybe at the most.
Yeah. Several now.
But that includes just, you know, general Imperial Navy flags as opposed rather than individual ship flags.
Yeah. Do they have something like blazons in D&D?
I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you mean specifically by that.
I learned a little bit about heraldry, so I'm that annoying person. So they have a weird way. It's like French. They have a weird way of describing heraldic devices.
Well, but that's what I mean is that to specific, like, and each major culture is going to have a different way of describing it.
Oh, sure.
Like, that fits for the European-esque heraldry used by many humans. That kind of language doesn't work for elves. They have a completely different language for it.
Oh, right. They have their own blazon.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, because I was thinking we only really have to get a message to our friends in Grinspace, and then they could ask the elves.
Right, but the problem is fitting that into the 25-word limit with other information that you want to convey as well.
That's why if Lenelius can actually cast Sending himself, if he is that powerful a mage, we've never... I'm going to ask him when he gets back if he is capable of casting that spell. If he is at that level of casting.
First, you're going to try to write down the...
Yeah, he's with Solas, we're like conferring.
Alright, both of you make intelligence checks, please.
Intelligence, Druid.
Well, that's all right.
No modifiers.
Nope, I failed by 1.
I succeeded.
Okay. With Solas's help, I will say that you guys got those correct.
I've got this in like my new book.
Yeah.
Writing down as much detail as I can about them.
So, and then you want to go talk to Lenelius?
Yeah, about them and show them to him.
Okay. He will not recognize any of them offhand, other than the fact that he recognizes that they're, from the descriptions that they're elven heraldic devices, and would recognize that they were obviously elven ships.
It's kind of an affront to leave them there, but at the same time...
Oh, he'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, but it's like, if I do something about it, which is within my power to do something about it, but it's like, I would be drawing a lot of ire on our group. And people may die because of my actions.
Is this just you two?
At the moment, yeah.
Lenelius says, well, if you think that, you...
Either steal them or burn them, simply so the goblins no longer have them.
If you have the ship, the individual ship insignia would be the more important ones to recover if you're going to try to recover them. If our ship here is about to leave, you could always, if you think that you can do this in a certain amount of time, you could leave the ship shortly before that happens. Try to get your party to delay the exit, make it slow just long enough for you to get over there, and then get back and arrive on this vessel just as you're leaving.
Well, there is a flitter. We do have a helm that could make it invisible. I could fly it out invisibly. That way there would be no association with our ship.
That would still be, the ship would be invisible, but what you do to the banners would not be. I would be more than happy to join you. Unfortunately, I am not as dexterous as I once was.
This is more of something I feel strongly about, and obviously I can understand you would as well, but it's not necessarily I want to cross our company. It's more of a case of I need to indicate how important this is for him, and I'd rather have his backing or some kind of plan that we can all do together. So I am going to bring it to them, their attention to them.
Do you want Lenelius to accompany you?
Yeah.
What about Nemeriel?
Yeah, Nemeriel as well.
Okay. So
this is like an officers meeting, like
okay.
The whole crew, everyone's on board on this.
All right. So what do you tell the party?
So
the whole crew, not just
not the whole crew, just the officers.
The officers and the helmsmen, and I'm obviously indicating that about the flag, that I cannot, in good standing, leave them there because it's kind of an affront to my religion.
Lenelius and Nemeriel will say that as a current and a former member of the Imperial Navy, they also fully back the idea of either recovering or destroying the banners.
Braxon says, "Can you duplicate it so it's not obvious we took it?"
I don't want them to no longer have them. So it's not even a
Generally-
case of leaving them. If I could put an illusion or something, some kind of like
So,
completely wrong flag on top of it while replacing the other one, that would be fair.
Generally,
Leo sort of goes, so you want to do something illegal like this for a set of flags, but you're not prepared to do something like this for slaves.
We've all got different
Go away. I won't help you.
motivations.
I won't help you.
Right?
I
I mean,
I
there are
think
no slaves really in this port.
Problem is with
Nemariel,
slaves, it's
Nemariel
like
would ask you, Leva, are you like walking out, or are you just saying that you're not going to help, or and staying in the room to continue discussions of it?
For her, there's not much to discuss because the discussion was when they were talking about the slaves and stuff.
I
And,
understand. I'm trying to find out whether
no,
you're
then she would
staying.
probably walk out.
Okay.
She would walk out.
Okay.
it's
So as you're
There's no-
walking out, Nemariel will call out to you and say, Leva, I can understand not wishing to help, but would you stand in the way of it?
I would owe you a favor, Leva, and you can call in that favor. This means a lot to me. I will return the favor.
At that particular moment, Lever would turn around to Lafdul and go, "What? What do you mean owing you or me a favor? Weren't we
If
supposed
you-
to be friends and
Yes,
and,
we
and help
are,
each
but-
other in
Yes.
things without counting favors going back and forth?"
Because I don't know if I need your help at the end of the day. I might be able to do this without your help. But obviously, if I had your help, the chances are I would have more success. I mean, when you asked me to do slaves, no, it's exactly your point when you made. You're making exactly the same point, and I'm now realizing I'm making the same case. And I've realized that, obviously, people have their goals and their wishes, and I should be more in tune with what this means to them. And I'm sorry that I have offended you.
Well, so Nemariel is specifically wondering, like,
Will she stay in his way? Will she do? What
right.
would
The
she do
the question
to
is
it?
ultimately, if you just don't want to have anything to do with it, and if everyone else agrees to let Lafdul try something, you won't oppose it. That's what she's wondering. She's indicating she understands your concerns and complaints, and just wants to make sure that if the decision is made to allow something to happen, that you're not going to try to prevent it from happening.
Braxton's
Ooh,
going to
at
say,
that
Hold on,
particular-
let Leva answer.
sorry.
Lever at that particular moment would turn around and look all of them up and down and say, "You do what you want to do," because she'd be disgusted with those people. They go ahead and risk everything for a set of flags that are nothing at all except some pictures on a piece of cloth. Whereas when it's a matter of helping real people, they sort of go and hide behind, "Oh, we can't do this because, and this is dangerous, and blah blah blah, and pipapo." So no, Lever won't stay in their way, but she will not even risk a finger to help them, and she will make her own plans about what's going to happen with other things.
Nemariel is satisfied with that. She just wanted to make sure that you wouldn't try to block it.
you're just gonna say, "I'm not getting involved in this either."
Braxton,
We've all got our own goals and ambitions to
Because-
follow through with.
Because
Right.
I wasn't on side for helping out the slaves at that moment because of how vulnerable we are, and I still think it's probably a bad idea to be going for this. So I'm not gonna stop you, but I'm also not going to get too directly involved, and I'm going to try to make sure that the ship and everything on it's going to be okay while you do this crazy stuff.
Braxon
That's why it
says.
was. Carry on, Braxon. You go.
Braxon says the Elven Navy have helped us out before more than once, and owing favours aside, they've earned my loyalty. My issue is that we are in a sphere with no allies, and we're in a port where it's their law, not our law. And if we take those flags and don't do it in the right way, they're gonna know it's us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why I want
Braxton
our
is-
ship to be
Braxton kind of
not
voiced a lot of my
outport.
opinion on this too.
Yeah.
This isn't.
Yeah.
We're not in Elven Navy territory. We're not even in like brawl space or anything that has to do with us. And I would have felt, and I don't have any relation to the Elven Navy or anything past. They're good people, and I kind of like them, but I don't have like any loyalty to do something this extreme for them when it could possibly end up with all of us getting arrested or our crew ending up in a lot of trouble.
Well, hang on, because as well as the fact that those flags represent crews who might appreciate having it, which is less important than the living. I'd rather rescue captured elves or captured humans from slavery. As well as it being that, is there also a possibility that these flags could help us find our way home somehow?
It's more of a case of I would be as much as they are Imperial navies, I would be doing this for my deity.
Right.
So for my pantheon.
Okay, so we can leave, and we have.
Yeah, the entire ship wouldn't even be here.
Hang on,
it would be...
hang on. I've not quite finished yet. We some of this will work. Yeah. We can leave. We have a helm we would take into the Elven Navy that can make a ship disappear. So the flitter could go back invisibly. And
that was
there are people who can make people invisible.
Myself.
Yes, that's a small amount of time to achieve what's needed. And then there's the fact that you want to take those flags and either swap them or just take them or make it look like all the flags have caught fire. So you kind of need, in my mind, a cover story so that they will not come and complain about us in our distinctive ship, the people who came and chatted to them just before this happened. So if there was another faction here that was rival to them and they looked like they'd done it or something else, if there was some sort of accident or something, maybe that will make it more able to succeed. But it seems like you have the beginnings of a plan, but not a total plan.
Yeah.
There's one more thing that Leva will do or say, but since she's walked out, it's a bit difficult to respond.
Does she walk back
in? When she realizes, no, let's put it this way: when she realizes that you intend to involve the whole ship and use the ship to do stuff like that, and use the ship to disappear afterwards, then she will stand up and say, "That's without me." She will definitely stand there and say, "That's without me." No, absolutely not.
He's talking about the flitter, not the whole ship.
Okay.
Yeah, the idea is that the ship isn't even recognized because it's not even in port, so there's no going away from here. The idea is the very simple idea is to literally fly in with a flitter, or have Nemerial, because Nemerial will be willing to come with me, and Lenarius. Lenarius can't fly because he's got no spells, but Nemerial could fly, so to speak. The ship could be invisible. I can make myself invisible. I could grab some of the flags, maybe set some of them on fire, and just literally just bail out.
Actually, thinking about this, the more I think about this, the more I think what Leva actually would do is she'd be so disappointed in you that when this woman comes, our guide or whatever, she will talk to her and ask her whether she can stay with their group.
Well, she hasn't come yet, so you can wait until Margoth arrives to do that.
Just telling that's not a threat or anything. It's just that's how Leva will feel. So
Okay.
no, she won't stand in your way, but she will take the consequences for herself because she sees that for the group. Other things are more important than things that are very important for herself, and therefore it's time for her to leave.
Okay, well, as Braxon isn't telepathic, I'm not going to act, I'm afraid.
Okay, so back to the rest of the party discussing. Nemerial, if she isn't on the helm, she could put up some fog clouds. She has access to that spell, and she takes them primarily in case you guys ever need air refreshing.
Braxon says, well, we have other people that can helm the ship, but it would have to be a volunteer. If I could fly, I would volunteer to do it. I can't ask anyone to do this.
Well,
no, I wasn't particularly asking anyone per se, other than people that wanted to do this.
Lenelius and Nemerial would essentially indicate that as long as they're not forbidden from doing so, they're more than ready to be the only ones helping Lafdul.
I think I'll come along because I'd rather you didn't not come back. What I'm saying is there might be other people that can help, and I'd rather have a plan that was thought out a bit better than a half thought out plan that fails. So if Numerial could use fog clouds, why don't you work out all the things that might help, and why don't you think of a narrative that will explain?
This doesn't have to be done today.
No, I know it doesn't.
Are we ever likely to come back here? Because this would change my opinion. I could think about it more.
Well, that's my other question. Is it might be that we want to come back here, and
there's a chance we may not. And
if we do this and they figure out it is us, we might have a frosty reception.
As a player, I have a great plan, but as a Solas, I would not know this plan.
Well, if Solas doesn't know it, then I mean,
yeah.
if you think it's reasonable that one of the other players could have conceived of it, I'm okay with players discussing things to come up with the best ways for their characters to do things is fine.
Well, basically the idea that I have as a player is that our ship would leave, Lafdul would stay invisible in the port, go fetch those flags he wants, and then use his powers or some other way to fly. And then we would use Flitter to basically pick him up when it's invisible. Like use locate object to locate where Lafdul is or something like that.
Yeah,
and pick him up on the fly.
Not bad, but it puts him on his own.
Lenelius and Nemerial's suggestion would be Lafdul pilots. Nemerial, and they'd be invisible with the helm. Come in close, hovering. Nemerial puts down fog clouds, and then she and Lenelius remove the flags and fly away.
Braxton's going to say, this thing on the helm that makes the ship invisible.
Half an
Does
hour.
does it require the helmsman to stay on the helm?
Yes. Because
Yes, you're
for one thing, if the
concentrating on
helmsman
it.
isn't on the helm, then
The
it's
ship
not being
drops.
powered, and it can't
Right.
hover.
Shall we? Well, is it worth? Well, no. If I ask the others if they want to volunteer or not, they're going to take it that I'm expecting them to volunteer. Well, how many people can you make invisible, Lafdul?
Make invisible? What do you mean by that exactly?
Everyone
I
on
make
board,
my
everyone on board of the ship is invisible on the ship.
I know when
Yeah,
they
and
get
I've-
off the ship.
I've got potions of invisibility which would last the duration.
Yeah.
Easily.
What I'm saying is, would this be something you'd have to do on your own because you're sneaky?
It's not necessarily something I would have to do on my own. I'm kind of in two minds with it. One, I feel rather strongly about it, but two, I feel like I've overlooked Lever's feelings, and now I'm having it's kind of like it's like a wrench turning in my gut.
Okay,
It's like I'm crossing a threshold doing this for some reason.
here's another idea. Does this need to happen now?
No, that's what I was wondering. If we
Because
can come back to it, and I
we
can
could-
think about it.
But what
We
if you
could
don't
go
come back?
away.
Yeah, that's also the problem. That's why I need to figure out if we are coming back.
Well, we haven't worked out how to leave this sphere yet. So the risk would be that we find a way home and we have to go immediately. And by going immediately, we can't come back to do this.
Well, so I would kind of pose it this way. I mean, let's think about kind of like, what may be the expected way of things to go. You help out some other groups because you'll be leaving here to go help out other people
Yeah.
who theoretically can give you information about the sage, and theoretically, if that sage can give you information to get out of here, would you then continue to hang around in the sphere, or would you be like, I mean, maybe stop by a reasonable port on the way out, but would you conceivably be like, well, yeah, let's just spend another week in the sphere, another 2 weeks in the sphere before leaving, or are we
Well,
just gonna try and get out right away so that we're home faster?
What I'm thinking is if Margoth takes us to guide us, that we have to bring her back. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
We'd have an obligation to her, and we don't also want to make it look like she has something to do with the banners going. But we don't necessarily need to bring her back in our ship.
I mean, you could tell her up front that she'll need to find her own way home. If you get this information, you'll drop her off at a reasonably close port, but
We could tell her that. We could tell her that. But what I'm saying is, if there wasn't a need for us to instantly leave, we could come back here and get those banners. But I mean, it is a bit out of the way.
right. But is that something that Braxon is going to feel is worthwhile? Coming back, spending multiple weeks, because or the potential for multiple weeks to come back here just for that.
Well, I'm just thinking if these flags don't get taken very soon after we leave, it's less likely to be thought to be us. If it happens 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, it'd be less likely to be seen as us.
Yeah, if it was like a return journey. I mean,
right. Can anyone make fake flags?
We've got what they look like, so we would have time to make the flags, right? Make false replacements.
Yeah.
Not really, since
not replacements. Something that isn't that, because it's no longer that. We're taking the originals. The idea is that they no longer remember who the elves are because we're taking away the memories. That's the principle about it. If they can no longer remember why they were at war, who the people they were at war with, because they no longer have things that are constantly reminding them about it.
I mean, there's a
Well,
lot
that's
more
fine.
than that. There's a lot more
Yeah,
than that.
but it helps, and that's Lafdul's doing what he can
I feel
where
like
he's
if we're
able.
I feel like if we're planning on coming back to do this, we should also make it clear that we're also going to go back and do the thing that Leva wanted to do, just to be fair.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to speak to her about that, and because I realized I was being hypocritical as I was saying it, and I've only realized recently, as the character Lafdul is. I mean, out of character. Obviously, I knew what I was doing, but
Yeah. Well, the living are certainly more important than the dead. The dead are important, but the living are more important.
Well, I mean,
Well,
did Leva suggest she and a couple other people just did something before leaving, as opposed to the party doing something as a group? Like, I mean, you've only been in places that
What if we
that have
could-
had at the very least a nominal ban on slavery.
how
she was she was discouraged actively from going on with her plan.
how
But in any case, as she leaves the room and she thinks about the whole situation, what she said and what she thinks, she will probably go off and talk to Margot and ask her whether she can stay with her group.
Okay.
And help her there, because she thinks that's the best way of doing that.
Okay. Well, while she's doing that, the rest of the party is still discussing.
Yes, they
There,
can
so,
go discuss until they don't want to anymore.
Right. No. I'm just indicating that's where we're going to be sticking with for the moment.
Yes. So, but I just said that because when Lafdul said that that he would go and want to talk to Leva, it would be that she isn't there anymore.
Okay. All right.
She's already walked out. That doesn't mean she never returns, but it means she went out to talk to Margot.
We had some creatures attack us while we were in Wildspace. I don't know if any of them would come to this city.
The gargoyles?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't see why they would.
They're
Well,
no, I was thinking about. I want to know because slavery is banned here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no like slaves or is there no prisoners? Because obviously someone got executed. Or was that the other part?
That was the other port. That was a thief.
I mean, even a place that has slavery banned probably still has like prisons and stuff.
Yeah, and they absolutely have prison labor. And you may
Yeah.
feel like if you actually looked into the judicial system, you may feel that it is incredibly unjust and pretty close to slavery, but it's not officially slavery. And
Yeah.
once
Slavery by a different term.
well, once again, I mean, one of the big differences is going to be that when if someone has been sentenced to 20 years of hard labor, once they've done that, then they're free again, and that is a difference. That's a pretty key difference. Generally, when someone is a slave, then they're a slave for life.
We have that back on Brow. If you commit minor crimes, they send you to the underside and you have to farm.
And there's definitely what you would say is a caste system going on here, especially with the mongrel men.
I mean, considering the society at that level, there's no such things as prisons that just hold prisoners for years and years, except for perhaps for very influential people who are prisoners.
And they also aren't like asking everyone who comes here, are all these people coming with you slaves? That's not happening. It's more of the ban is on citizens can't keep slaves. The slave trade can't happen openly. But if a ship arrives and it uses slaves as crew members, they're not suddenly all freed. They don't invade the ship and free them. that's not how it works, because they're not doing that. But if you were to walk into a bar and say, "Hey, where can I buy slaves around here?" You're probably gonna end up in 20 years hard labor. If only because you're really stupid and they're like, I mean,
Can't be
you're just
having
being
you
dumb.
aside.
Now you just gotta go do this thing. I mean, you're not allowed to do this. Try for that.
Question.
Mhm.
If someone were to free a slave in these ports, let's say from a ship that had slave crew, would the people return the escaped or freed slaves to their previous owners if they demanded?
That's probably gonna boil down to politics.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if the Illithids are threatening a massive military strike, and they're saying, "Oh no, this person wasn't a slave," wink wink, they were charmed, wink wink, then the people here might be like, they're saying he's not a slave, so you didn't actually free a slave, you kidnapped someone. It's hard to say. But I mean, obviously, if you freed a slave and there was no ability for the former owner to have any kind of defense of it, yeah, they're not going to do anything about that.
Yeah, I think what I'm more concerned with is the consequences of it rather than the doing it. If it looked like Margoth had anything to do with it, there might be some consequences there.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to associate anything with our ship or anything like that.
Can you make very bad weather happen?
No, and plus this where we are has no weather. I was thinking of dissension.
Are you sure there's no weather?
This town does not. I just said that a little while ago.
Okay. Oh, right, sorry.
This entire when there's a spectacle, so to speak, they're obviously eating food, right?
When there's a what?
When there's a spectacle going on, they're all eating food and the place is filled up.
Like the arena, you mean?
Yeah.
I'm
just wondering if a mass-scale dissension feast would be a good enough diversion.
It might be. Is there any restriction on how many people that can affect?
No, there is none.
Okay.
They've all just got to eat it, so I just need to get all the food they're all being served.
Yeah, you just have to get in there. It might.
Literally, because they would all go into brawling, insulting, etc., etc. There'd be so much chaos if an entire arena is all fighting each other. And that's kind of like what my day is all about.
I suppose so.
No, it's just a theory at the moment, but that is up there.
Is that something you're talking to the others about?
Yeah, I'm just talking about it.
Yeah, Brax says, well, I don't know exactly what they'll do, but yeah, I mean, if they pulled down their own flags and two flags disappeared.
They're fighting, there's going to be, I'll make sure there are some, torches around, etc. I don't know, maybe people start using the torches as weapons, fire starts. There's flammable liquids around, etc. Strategically placed around,
Seems a bit more complicated, but it would give a narrative for why the flags were gone.
I mean, you could still try to do something in order to, with the ship to get them. Like, just because, you've got that going on, but how would you then steal the banners?
Well, see, what I would do if I had the skills to do it is I would say swap over the flags with fake flags and then destroy the fake flags.
Well, you could leave the fake flags as long as no one realised.
No. If you leave the fake flags, they'll eventually notice.
Yeah, they'll eventually notice, but
Plus,
That's
they
here,
still
not
have
there.
the plus they still have the fake flags that insult the elves that were killed to get
they'll
those
be
flags.
changed enough that they're no longer being that. I think replacing the flags with false flags would be a good idea.
Okay. Then you'll need to think about how you get those made.
Yeah, and you've got to. You're not just making a flag; you're making a distress flag that looks similar enough.
I mean, obviously I could observe them because I was paying particular attention to them. To a casual observer, people may not necessarily notice the difference.
And they are, tens of feet up in the air. 20, 30, 40 kind of thing. Somewhere in
It's
there.
only when someone points out, oh, well, what do you mean that flag has that? No, it doesn't. It has this. Then they look at the flag. Then they realise that there's something wrong with the flags. That
Well,
could be
and
days later.
I mean, if your goal is to swap in the fake ones and then visibly destroy them, then
not
it doesn't matter.
necessarily visibly destroy them. It's
Yeah, but if you visibly destroy them, then no one can identify that they were fake.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But you could,
I'm
you could
talking
leave
about
the
two
fake
different
flags.
things.
All right. Well, you might
Two
want to
different
think about it,
plans.
and because we're about time for our break,
Mhm.
think about that, and think about whether you want to do this now or actually make plans to come back later. Because you do still have Margoth to talk to. Leva's gone off to talk to her first, and I think that's what we're gonna do when we get back. I think from the break.
Yeah.
Let Leva
Then
go
there'd
off
be a
and
Mhm.
talk to her.
there'd be a separate spin-off solo adventure with Levering.
I mean, no. If Leva stays with them and leaves the group, she's leaving the group, and that's the character gets retired. That's what would be
Oh,
going
okay.
on.
That's
Okay.
that's
So
the intent.
You're not going to do you and her on another day in the week.
No.
No.
All right, so
Okay.
we'll be back
Intention.
in about 10 minutes, everyone. Good time to get something to eat or drink, and we will see you shortly.